Welcome to the Straight Red Card. We're back. This is Cocktail Hour as usual. And, I watch Pete and he says things like, smash the like button. I'm not going to ask you to do that. I'm just going to have you just lightly tap it if you like the show. Just lightly tap it and I guess subscribe. Brett, back in the old
quite
days.
sensible. Just don't have to smash it. It's just a computer.
Yeah, don't smash it. That sounds.
Give it a click.
If you had too many beers, go ahead and smash it. But if you're just getting started tonight, or you're stoned, you don't need to smash it. You just tap it lightly. It'll work just fine. But I guess what we're going to talk about today is all the wonderful things that happened this weekend. But I do have to say, it's interesting on YouTube lately because on the side page, they keep advertising Bonet Sports soccer goals to me. Those soccer nets that bounce back to you and shit. Mm. It's like, hey, maybe they haven't figured it out at YouTube, but I'm 50 and I'm not playing soccer anymore. maybe they're advertising to me because they think I have, kids, but all my kids are out of the house. They're in college. One actually been in the Navy and he's out. So no, I'm not going to be buying your Bonet Sports soccer goals just so you can take that off my screen, YouTube. That would be nice.
You're watching too much soccer content for YouTube not to advertise that.
I know, but they know how old I am. I'm sure they do. I mean,
I'm sure you're in some kind of a database.
Gotta be. It's a creepy world we live in. So what we'll do, Brett, and I think it's kind of like a lightning round, but it won't be.
Never is.
We're just gonna each, take turns bringing up something important that happened this weekend, and with the Yanks playing abroad, and of course, I could start off with Pulisic, DK, and McKennie all scoring, and I'm not going to do that.
Too easy.
Yeah, I'm going to start off with Anthony Robinson getting back in the starting 11 for Fulham for the second game in a row, which maybe means Scott Parker has settled on a different approach. He's starting three in the back. So he's playing the guy who originally took Robinson's job at left back for a while into the back three and putting Robinson back out on the left wing. So good news for Robinson. This means he's back in the starting 11. The bad news is they really are looking a little doomed. Like 2 weeks ago, they seem to be on like a kind of a good stretch of play where they were competing in every game. And this weekend, loss and back into the bottom three. Actually, they were already in the bottom three last weekend.
Yeah.
Any thoughts on Andy Robinson?
It's good news for the U.S. national team. Having our potential starting left back receiving every game minutes. Whether it's a full game or part time, either way, this is quality.
Yeah, and I guess if he gets, they get relegated to championship, that doesn't put him out of the picture for the U.S. men's national team because the championship is still a really good quality league, and so you can still play.
On top of that, that would require Dest to get pushed out left, which isn't a bad thing by any means, but it's not ideal. And then that would require somebody else to fill in right back, which we do have a couple of options.
We do. One of those would have been Yedlin, who
got injured,
really bad injury this weekend, and he's going to be out for a good long while, which is too bad because he fit immediately into Galatasaray's starting 11 and was playing really well. And now I think it was around the 30th minute maybe when it happened. Ugly stuff. Feel bad for the kid, and hopefully he gets better.
Right when his game was kicking back up, yep.
What's that?
Rough. Right when his game was kicking back up. It's rough.
I know. And, that could have allowed us to play a Dest out left, Yedlin outright. Man, that's some rocket ship stuff there, And now, who knows? People, of course, are excited about Cannon, but Cannon's not playing well for Boa Vista or us. And we'll get to Brian Reynolds later. All right, your turn.
So I know you said that you didn't want to talk about Pulisic, McKennie, and DK and everything like that. I will bring up Pulisic, and not necessarily the fact that he's found his form and he's getting his groove back.
Yeah,
but perhaps Tuchel's tough love has sparked some sort of offensive prowess back into him.
You think so?
It's possible. He put him on the bench, put him in for bit minutes here and there, gave him positive reviews. Oh, he's great. He'll get his time. He just needs to be patient. And that anger was just building up, and then he unleashed him upon EPL.
Yeah, I mean, that's one way to look at it. I mean, I can see Pulisic getting that frustrated, but for him being frustrated never seems to be good. Like, he just plays worse when he's frustrated. So maybe
that was frustrated. I mean, like I said, the anger is building up, the hungerness, And I think the big thing here is formation is key. When he was first getting brought in for those bit minutes, he was playing out as a wingback and very much an outside winger.
Yeah, that
and
was
not
horrible.
Necessarily playing his position. Now he's playing up there with Mount and insert striker here, and he has limited defensive responsibilities. His entire intent is really just focusing on attacking that goal and creating opportunities.
It was fantastic. I watched the whole game, loved it.
It's fun.
Even my parents watched it. I think I texted, or my mom texted me and said, "Hey, did you see Pulisic's goal?" I'm like, yeah, of course I saw it. And by the way, did you see the second one? So yeah, I mean, great goals. The first goal was a rocket left footer, just an absolute blaster that was unsavable. And the second one was just him hustling and, tapping in the opportune ball. But,
and when he took that hit and he was limping a bit, I was like, oh no.
I know.
But it was just a knock. We all can breathe easy.
Yeah, exactly. All right. So, speaking of knocks then, because this sort of ties in, but Tyler Adams left in the second half. And I noticed nearing the end of the second half for Leipzig, he was bent over and holding his back.
You mean the first half?
Yeah, in the first half.
Okay,
like near the end of the first half. And I'm like, what's that? I never see him do that. He doesn't do that. But if you watch the footage of the game, you'll notice on the right, him kind of like half bent over, grabbing his side. And I'm like, that doesn't look good. And yep, unsurprisingly, second half he was out. So I'm just guessing. There's no official report or anything like that. But you don't pull Adams at right back the way he was playing and as good as he was playing in that game at halftime, unless there's something, like a knock or a slight pull or whatever. And they've got to be careful with him anyhow, because he's got the sports hernia thing, so.
I had an insanely busy weekend, so when I went to look at the recaps to find out which games to really watch afterwards, I saw him get pulled at halftime, and I'm like, well, that's not good. And then I saw the score line, and I said, well, that sucks for Sargent.
Yeah, poor Sargent. I mean, listen, he had his moments in that game too, but yeah, it was rough going. Werder Bremen are just bad, and the sad thing is they're nowhere near as bad as Schalke.
Yeah. No, so I brought this comment up, or I brought this topic up earlier with Sargent, and this is just sort of rolling in nicely, but it's the question as far as whether or not who's going to start for the U.S. national team as striker, whether it's going to be Sargent or DK or insert other option here. And, people are saying like, well, you guys keep going off with Sargent. You guys may find that you're going to be sadly mistaken in the end. I'm like, well, I'm more than happy to be mistaken in the end. If Sargent loses his spot, all that means is that DK gets a chance to prove himself. Either way, it's win-win for me.
Yeah.
But looking at the goal production and everything like that, DK is on that hot streak. However, you look at Sargent, people like, you can't really make that comment for the whole, he plays for a bad team for Sargent. Sargent, even with the bad team, he's still leading goal scorer, tied leading goal scorer with 5 goals and tied for third in assists with 2 assists. If that doesn't speak volumes to the level of production at Bremen, I don't know what does.
Yeah, that team. And listen, Pete made a great point. I always bring up Pete. I hate saying that, but he, he's part of our channel. So I watch his show every time. So, but he even said, yeah, is it biased for me? I don't know. Am I biased? Am I for Sargent because I'm just not seeing his weaknesses? Could be for us too. But I haven't found any major weaknesses in his game. It's just that he doesn't get any service, and maybe I'm making excuses for him, but I don't think so. All right.
Countering to that point though, with DK, he's got 8 goals in 14 games. And Barnsley has been has an 11-1-2 record since he's joined, and that's not to say much. I mean, Barnsley was obviously doing well before he got there, but he's absolutely doing well with him there. So
he is. He's been great, and I'm not dying on any hill on anything. By the way, I drink.
I want to live.
Yeah, I drink too much to die on any specific hill. This show is just for fun, It's not life or death here, and I know he meant that metaphorically.
Yeah. That was clear. I know it was clearly kind of a joke, and
yeah,
brought some good points to that too. Yeah. No, I just brought that up because I was literally just responding to that before the show.
I know I saw that too.